Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was alive that June afternoon. Balloons bobbed lazily from the ceiling, the scent of sugar, pizza, and frosting mixed in the air, making parents smile and children run in dizzying circles. Laughter and the jingling of coins from arcade machines filled every corner. Birthday songs played on loop from the stage, where the mascots Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxa performed for the crowd. Gabriel was 7, brown hair that fell into his eyes, shy, curious, and always a little too adventurous. He clutched his mother's hand for a moment, then let go when the sight of Freddy, laughing and waving at him, was too irresistible to ignore. He'd been dreaming about this day for weeks. Chance to see his favorite mascots up close, maybe even touch them. He wandered through the tables, greeting other children politely, though his eyes never left the stage. Parents called after him, but the excitement in his chest drowned out every warning. And then he saw it, a hallway marked employees only, shadowed and quiet, away from the laughter. At the end of it, a figure waited. Not Freddy, not Bonnie, not Chica. Something different, yellow, smiling too wide. It gestured, as if beckoning him closer. Gabriel hesitated only for a moment before curiosity overcame caution. "Come see," it seemed to whisper, though no words were spoken. 4 minutes. That's all it took. 4 minutes for the hallway to fall silent, for the joyous sounds of the party to fade behind closed doors. When the security cameras flickered back on, the hallway was empty. No footsteps, no struggle, no sign of the boy. Only a single party hat lay on the cold linoleum near the back room door, as if someone had dropped it intentionally. The staff panicked. Parents screamed. Police searched everywhere, closets, kitchens, storage rooms, even the parking lot. No trace. No hint. Just the feeling that something had slipped through the cracks, unseen. And then slowly the whispers began. Freddy's eyes seemed to gleam longer than they should. Bonnie's head tilted unnaturally toward empty hallways. Chica's beak twitched, clicking against nothing. Foxy, usually tucked behind the curtain in Pirate Cove, was said to peek out more often as though searching. Some people laughed it off. Imagination, overworked staff, faulty wiring. Others weren't so sure. Gabriel was gone, taken before anyone could stop him. But some nights, if you linger near the empty stage and strain your ears over the faint hum of the animatronic music, you can hear it, a soft giggle, a small voice watching from somewhere beyond the costumes. Watching, waiting. The first child was gone, but his disappearance was only the beginning of something far darker. After Gabriel vanished, the town whispered, but Freddy Fazbear's Pizza stayed open. 2 days later, Susie disappeared. She was 6, with golden pigtails and wide, curious eyes. She carried a small stuffed dog everywhere, the same dog she hugged as she slept at night. That day she clutched it tightly, dragging it behind her through the crowded dining area. Parents were distracted, arguing over misplaced birthday cakes or chatting near the arcade. Staff were busy trying to calm the chaos, unaware that the shadows themselves had begun to move. Susie wandered near the kitchen doorway. A strange chill seemed to hang there, though the summer air inside the building was warm. And then she saw it, a yellow figure much like the one that had taken Gabriel, kneeling slightly, smiling too wide, holding out a hand. Her stuffed dog had fallen from her grip. She bent down to pick it up, and when she looked up again, the figure was closer. It didn't speak, but Susie nodded, trusting it. Curiosity had overtaken caution, just as it had with Gabriel. She followed. No one saw her leave. No one heard her scream. Only the soft jingle of her dogs. Tag echoed for a moment, before silence swallowed it. When the staff discovered she was missing, panic spread like wildfire. Police searched every room, every hallway, even outside. But like Gabriel, Susie had vanished completely. No footprints, no doors left open. Only the stuffed dog, found later in a supply closet, untouched and oddly clean, as if nothing had ever happened. The animatronics began acting stranger. Chica's eyes glimmered when no one was nearby, her movements jerky and unnatural. Freddy's head turned toward empty corners of the room, his gaze lingering longer than it should. Bonnie twitched as if following unseen footsteps. Some dismissed it as malfunctions, but the whispers grew louder, carried by staff and parents who couldn't explain what they felt in those dark hallways, that the mascots were no longer just machines. That night, the security cameras captured something faint, a small shadow moving against the walls. A giggle too soft to hear over the hum of the restaurant's music. It wasn't Gabriel. It was Susie, or at least something that had become her. The second child was gone, and now it was clear this was no accident. Something inside Freddy Fazbear's Pizza had begun to hunger. By the time Jeremy disappeared, whispers about Freddy Fazbear's Pizza had grown louder. Parents were nervous, staff were on edge, but the company insisted everything was fine. The mascots smiled, the music played, and the parties went on. Jeremy was 8, confident and curious, always wanting to explore. That afternoon, he slipped through the dining area, heading toward the hallway behind the stage, the same hall Gabriel and Susie had vanished from. He saw Bonnie standing near the doorway. The animatronic didn't move, but something invisible seemed to pull Jeremy forward. He reached out, the hum of the restaurant fading behind him, and then he was gone. Parents panicked, staff searched every room. Nothing, just an empty hallway. After that night, the animatronics grew bolder. Bonnie lingered in hallways. Freddy's gaze followed unseen movement. Chica's beak opened and closed unnaturally. Even Foxy peeked out from Pirate Cove earlier than usual. Some employees swore the suits looked heavier, as if something or someone was inside. Soft giggles and faint whispers sometimes drifted from the stage. Jeremy was gone, but on quiet nights, if you peek down the empty hallways, you can feel him there. Not the laughing boy he once was, something else. Something learning, something that waits. The third child vanished, and with every disappearance, the hunger inside Freddy Fazbear's Pizza grew stronger. By now, fear had settled over Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. The parents whispered warnings. Staff were on edge, but the company kept the doors open. The stage lights still shone. The music still played. The mascot still smiled. Fritz was 7, small and curious, always running ahead of the other kids. That day, a fire alarm blared, sending children screaming toward the exits. In the chaos, Fritz slipped away, unnoticed. He found himself near a hallway behind the stage, darker than usual, with a faint mechanical hum echoing through the walls. And there, waiting in the shadows, was Foxy. Not on stage, not performing, just waiting. Fritz took a step closer, then another. The hum grew louder, almost like it was breathing, and suddenly the hallway seemed to stretch. Fritz was gone. No one saw him vanish. No one heard a sound, just a small shoe left behind, abandoned on the floor. After Fritz disappeared, the animatronics grew more aggressive. Foxy peered from Pirate Cove constantly, ready to sprint. Freddy's gaze followed every movement in the dim hallways. Bonnie lingered near empty corridors, twitching unnaturally. Chica's eyes glimmered in the dark, tracking invisible paths. Staff whispered that the suits seemed heavier, alive, and sometimes faint giggles echoed from the empty hallways, carrying the innocence of children long gone. Fritz was gone, but in the dead of night, if you stood near Pirate Cove, you could feel him there, watching, waiting. No longer a child, but part of the hunger that had taken over the restaurant. With the fourth child gone, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza had grown hungrier. Something inside the animatronics had changed forever. The first 4 children were gone: Gabriel, Susie, Jeremy, Fritz, swallowed by the shadows of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. But the 5th child, Cassidy, was different. Cassidy was quiet, observant, a small, pale child with dark, wide eyes that seemed to see everything. She didn't run, didn't laugh, didn't get distracted by balloons or games. She clutched her little blanket and wandered the edge of the dining room, watching the animatronics perform. The others were drawn to the lights and music. Cassidy was drawn to the darkness between them. That day, nobody noticed her slip away. Not the parents, not the staff, not even the camera feeds, which mysteriously went fuzzy whenever she moved near the hallways. She found herself near the stage after hours. Freddy was there, standing perfectly still, eyes glinting faintly in the dim light. And then Bonnie, Chica, Farksy, all watching, waiting. Cassidy didn't scream. She didn't run. She just stared. A soft, almost broken giggle escaped her lips. And then the world went still. Cassidy disappeared. The staff later swore they saw something strange in the animatronic suits. Freddy's eyes seemed darker, almost hollow. Bonnie twitched unnaturally. Chico's beak opened and closed as if whispering. Foxy's curtain moved on its own. And the deepest shadows, a small crying voice echoed soft, mournful yet aware. Cassidy hadn't just vanished. Her spirit had joined the others, inhabiting the animatronic suits. Every child taken over time had become part of the machines. Gabriel in Freddy, Susie in Chica, Jeremy in Bonnie, Fritz in Foxy, Cassidy in Golden Freddy. And together they waited, watching, remembering every party, every laugh, every moment of fear. Each night they roamed, seeking, hungry. Some nights, if you wandered the empty hallways after midnight, you could hear the soft giggles of children, the faint sound of small footsteps echoing through the building. And if you dared to look, the animatronics were watching, always watching. They weren't just machines anymore. They were children, trapped, angry, never leaving. 5 souls, 5 lost children, all in one place. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was never just a restaurant. It was a prison, and the children inside, they never forgot.